Here's the truth about that follow-up email you're afraid to send. That single delay is a mistake that costs 95% of creatives a five-figure opportunity every year. Every month you accept silence, you let clients chip away at your confidence and your bottom line. Stop leaving that $10,000 plus on the table. Let's fix this together. I'll show you how to be persistent in a way that builds respect, not resentment. Before we dive in, I want to be crystal clear. I'm a financial educator, not a licensed financial advisor. The ideas we talk about here are for educational purposes, to help you build awareness and ask better questions. This isn't personalized financial advice, so please always consult with a qualified professional for your unique situation. Okay, let's get into it. So why is that follow-up email so hard to send? It's because for most of us there's a deep, unspoken conflict running in the background. It's this idea that we've built a sacred wall in our minds, separating our art from commerce. On one side, you have your craft, the passion, the skill, the thing you pour your soul into. On the other side, you have business, the invoicing, the contracts, and yes, the follow-ups. And we've been subtly taught that letting the business side touch the art side somehow corrupts it. Following up feels less like a professional standard and more like you're a pushy salesperson. It feels needy. We tell ourselves, if they really valued the work, they'd get back to me. This story is a trap. It forces us to equate their silence with a judgment on our creative worth. When we don't get a reply, we don't think, oh, that creative director is probably swamped with a dozen other projects. We think, maybe my portfolio wasn't good enough. We internalize a simple communication gap as a personal creative failure. This is the exact mindset that keeps us stuck, leaving that opportunity on the table just to avoid a moment of potential discomfort. So how do we dismantle this false wall and learn to advocate for our work in a way that feels authentic, not aggressive? The answer lies in shifting our core operating principle. We need to move away from the mindset of a starving artist, hoping for a handout, and adopt the mindset of a professional facilitating an exchange of value. This is the timeless principle that underpins every sustainable business, creative or otherwise, the principle of mutual value exchange. Let's break that down. It sounds a bit formal, but the idea is incredibly simple and empowering. A business transaction is not a one-way street where you beg for money. It's a balanced, two-way exchange. The client has a problem, a need, a vision they can't execute on their own. That's their gap. You, with your unique talent, skill, and perspective, provide the solution that fills that gap. That's your value. When they agree to a project, they are not doing you a favor. They are acknowledging that your value is the solution they need. The payment isn't a gift. It's their side of the exchange, the value they provide in return for your solution. When you truly internalize this, the entire dynamic of the follow-up flips on its head. You are no longer a nervous artist asking, "Do you still like me?" You become a professional partner asking, "Are we still moving forward on solving the problem we discussed?" The follow-up email stops being a sign of desperation and becomes an act of professional stewardship. You're not chasing them for your own benefit. You are helping a busy, often overwhelmed client stay on track with a goal they set. You are demonstrating that you are organized, that you value their project, and that you are ready to deliver on the solution they came to you for in the first place. This isn't just about getting one invoice paid. This is the foundational mindset for a long-term, resilient creative career. When you operate from a place of mutual value, you build relationships based on respect, not dependency. Clients see you as a reliable partner, not just a service provider they can ghost. You start to attract better projects because your confidence and professionalism signal the high quality of your work. It protects your energy and your spirit because you're no longer tying your creative worth to the responsiveness of someone's inbox. But I know that just hearing a principle can feel abstract. To make this idea of mutual value tangible, let's use an analogy from a world we all understand intimately. Think of your project proposal like the first draft of a novel. You've done the hard work. You've developed the characters, plotted the story, and written the opening chapters. You send it to your editor, who in this case is the client. Now, if a week goes by and you don't hear back, does the author immediately assume the book is a complete failure? No. A professional author knows the editor is juggling multiple projects and is giving the manuscript the careful attention it requires. Your follow-up is not the desperate plea of, "Did you hate my story?" It's the professional note from a collaborator that says, "Just wanted to check in on the draft. I've cleared my schedule to begin the next chapter and want to make sure we're still aligned on the timeline." You see the difference? You're not begging for approval. You are managing the project. You're treating the silence not as a rejection of your creative talent, but as a logistical pause in a shared professional process. You're reminding them that you are a partner dedicated to getting their story, their project, across the finish line. This reframing is a powerful tool, but it only works if the person wielding it truly believes in it. So how do we move this from a nice idea to our default operating system? It starts by consciously changing the job title you give yourself, not just on your website, but in the quiet of your own mind. For so long we've defined ourselves by our craft. I am a photographer. I am a writer. While true, these labels are incomplete. The real work is to expand that identity to encompass the whole role. You are a creative professional. You are the CEO of your creative business. Think about the difference. An artist often waits for inspiration, waits for discovery, waits for a client to respond. Their value feels tied completely to the act of creation. A creative professional, however, understands that the craft is only one part of the equation. They don't just create the value, they steward it through the entire process. They build the systems and communications that protect their work and ensure it connects with the world. From this perspective, following up is no longer a needy intrusion. It becomes a core function of your role as CEO. It's project management. It's client relations. It's the simple, professional act of moving a shared goal forward. You stop seeing yourself as a passive creator, hoping for a response, and start acting as the proactive partner who guides the project to completion. This is the shift from artist to architect of your career. It's not about selling out, it's about taking ownership. So let's bring this all together and turn this mindset into a concrete action plan. Here is the blueprint for making this a reality, starting with the very next email you send. So the blueprint is simple, but it isn't easy. It's about a fundamental shift in your professional identity. You are not just the creator of the work, you are the steward of its value. When you follow up, you are not being annoying. You are being a reliable partner, guiding a shared project toward the finish line. This isn't about chasing payment. It's about leading with professionalism and respect. By embracing your role as the CEO of your creative business, you transform an act of anxiety into an act of leadership. I'm curious, what's one phrase you will tell yourself before sending your next follow-up email to reinforce this new mindset? Share it in the comments below. Reading each other's ideas can be incredibly powerful. And if this perspective helped you today, make sure to subscribe and join us. We're here every week, building the blueprint for a more profitable and sustainable creative career together.